Welcome! It's the Glitter Boom Girls podcast. I'm Robbie-Ann McPherson on the East Coast.
And I am Amy Asberg on the West Coast.
We are so happy to have you with us once again. We love you guys. We need you guys. We do this for ourselves, right, Aim? We do it for fun, but we also do it for you because, if you aren't there, then what are we doing it for anyway? So today, though, we're just hopping right into it. We are talking about back to school, okay? Remember when you were a kid and the end of August was rolling around, the nights are getting shorter and that's my cat McLickens, by the way.
Even the nights are shorter.
Now that we're here together.
I still have that little ooh feeling when it starts to be September. You're like, oh.
Right?
You're like, wait, I'm not going back to school.
Yeah, and of course here the weather changes where it starts getting cooler and crispy and the fall is coming and, you start smelling people's fireplaces and stuff like that.
Well, that's lovely, though. I think that's rather lovely, but I think there's a certain amount of dread. It's like the Sunday afternoon dread also.
Oh, yeah, because you feel it closing in. You feel it ending.
Yeah, there's a definite dread when you see the back to school commercials instead of the commercials to go out camping or whatever.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Okay, so let's start with back to school shopping.
Oh.
Okay, so I say to you, Amy, back to school shopping. Boom. What comes to mind?
Absolute madness and chaos and just a feeling of major anxiety, I have to say, because my mother would go out maybe 2 times, but she really wanted you to do it all in one trip.
Okay.
Like, hey, we're going on Thursday. We better get everything on Thursday. Shoes, socks, underwear, like the whole thing. I'm not going to go out the whole bunch of times.
Okay. And where would you go?
So it would always be just something local. Just some kind of, there was a store called Clothes Time back then in the 80s. But, when we were very young, I have no idea, probably JCPenney, you guys, or whatever was at the mall. And when I was, second grade, it was fun because I just picked out literally anything. Mm-hmm. And she just let me buy it. I looked completely mismatched and ridiculous.
Okay.
But I liked it.
All right.
But then it became like, oh my gosh, I got to look, when you get to maybe 12 or something, you're like, oh, I've got to look relatively cool. And that's when the tear starts where you're like, do I look cool? Am I looking like I'm trying too hard? And there's a tear of, is this really me? Are these outfits really me? It's just like this whole thing. So I did not like it. I would say in my preteen and teen years, I did not like it. A lot of pressure. What about you?
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I had the opposite feeling, but for kind of the same reason. My back to school shopping would start in the beginning of August, where I would go to my mall, the famed Eastern Hills Mall in Clarence, New York, and I would hit, Sears, JCPenney, we didn't have Macy's, but the Macy's level stores like AM&A's, there was one called Sibley's, and I would go in there, and I would try to basically create an entire new persona with wardrobe, right?
Yep.
I would read all the 17 magazines and Glamour magazine and all this, and I would look at the cute pictures of the impossibly pretty models and their little plaid skirts and, cute hair and everything. And so I would go and try to purchase my way into becoming those girls. And to me, the beginning of every school year was an opportunity for me to become a perfect person. This year I'm going to do my homework on time and well. And this year, every single day I go to school, I'm going to put together cute outfits and be cute and pretty like these girls in the magazines or like my neighbors, my perfect, beautiful neighbors. with the matching everything.
The turtleneck crew.
That's right. That's right. And it's no shade on them. I mean, they had their shit together,
They were to be admired, and their mothers put their towels in the dryer to warm them for when they got out of the shower.
Correct. I mean, how could you not come out of that type of upbringing and think that, you're special, right? Whereas me, it was like, I mean, everything would sort of crumble around me as I realized, even though I was trying to create this whole new persona and this whole new Robbie, and, I was going to walk into that school, like Bad Sandy in the end of Grease, I mean, I was going to just turn it up. I was still goofy me that, had the wrong clogs and the wrong shoes and, and didn't know how to do my hair. So my hair was just a mess. Like, it just never worked. And
I take issue with this, though, because I've seen your school picture. I saw your school picture for 10th grade, and you look like a model with the perfect hair and the perfect shirt. So where's this? There's a disconnect.
Well, okay, that
Can
picture,
you see yourself
that
like
one
you really
picture, the one where I'm wearing that turquoise thing with the beige sweater, and I've got the Facts of Life mullet, that one.
Yeah, please tell me that you agree that looks like a...
Okay, that was probably my best school picture.
Okay, because
it was probably...
Say, you know what?
No, it was like the only decent picture anybody ever took of me when I was young. I didn't look like I thought I was supposed to look. Now, of course, years later, you look back and you're like, what was I worried about? I mean, we're all different shapes and sizes, and that's fine. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Like, truly, and it's all about the inside. Like, we know that now. But back then, I just thought that if I had the wrong skirt, that was the end. I thought that was a personal failure. I don't know. Oh, there was one great ritual I had, though, with my friend Julie. So shout out to Julie. Julie and I would go to the local drugstore, like Rite Aid or whatever. And every Labor Day weekend, we would go up one of the days and we would buy our new makeup for the year. And it was always some Maybelline eyeshadow palette, right? And some kind of...
With like no pigment.
Right, exactly. Like, you could just keep wiping it on your eyes and there's like nothing. Or Wet n Wild or something. And of course applied wrong. Like, it was all wrong.
Like all the way up to your eyebrow, kind of. Right. Frost.
Just, I mean, I wish I could sit my younger self down and just say, okay, first of all, you're doing it wrong. Second of all, it's okay that you're doing it wrong. Third of all, 10 years from now, hell, 5 years from now, it won't matter because you're going to figure this out when you get older. It's just,
I would have told myself to blend.
Amy, honey, blend. Yeah. Okay. No, I like this. I like this tangent. All right. What else would you tell say you're ninth grade, you're about to enter ninth grade. What would you sit yourself down and say?
My ninth grade year was my Sandy year, where I did walk in with the black off the shoulders shirt because I had seen Grease for the first time and understood it.
Yeah.
It's the first time I understood it. I saw it when I was a kid and I didn't really get it. And then I saw it and I went, oh. And this, of course, was during the time of the Video Vixen days and, Guns N' Roses and had just come out and Def Leppard,
Right.
My ninth grade year, everybody, was 1987, 88. So it was kind of the rock chick. Anyway, I thought this is a great time. At my middle school / junior high, ninth grade was not a freshman in high school. It was the top grade of middle school. It was 7 through 9, right?
Oh, okay.
So I thought, well, there's nobody here who's going to make fun of me. I'm the big man on campus. This perfect time for me to walk into this school, throw down a cigarette, stomp it out, all that. And I did it. And everything was in slow motion and my hair was like, and I walked in, everybody's jaw dropped and they all...
Did you go, tell me about it, stud?
It was literally AC/DC's Back in Black, like, just started playing, like, in the air when I started walking in
Bennett,
slow-mo.
Bennett,
Like, the doors
Bennett.
opened, and I walked, and I looked like, Tawny Katana. I looked like one of those people. I was wearing heels. I was literally wearing high
There's like
heels.
a fan from nowhere just
There's
blowing
a
your
fan
hair
from
around.
nowhere. And it's funny because I watched The Goldbergs, which is an '80s show, a couple years back, and the sister Erica walked in school like that, and I went, "That happened to me." I was like, "Oh my gosh, they stole my memory." But I guess it happens to people have a glow up now and again.
Yeah.
But so my ninth grade, I'd been doing all these sit ups in my room. I had a bare midriff. It was like the craziest.
But wait,
It
I'm
was
super
crazy.
intrigued by this because you
Mhm.
realize you succeeded. You
Oh,
actually
I
transformed
bypassed.
yourself and showed up
Bypassed it.
as new Amy.
Then I would wear like a Motley Crue shirt tied in a knot, like right under my bust. It was like the craziest thing. I got so many dress code violations, but you know what? I really overshot it, you guys, because I had this great reaction of just, and I went, that worked,
Right.
But then you guys, kind of walking around like that throughout that year, I almost got kidnapped and sex trafficked like 50 times that year. So then I was like, oh, this is kind
Right.
of dangerous,
Right. You
really.
get you in addition to the shock of that first day, you get other
There were so many
reactions.
vans, coming by, and I was like, wait a second, this is not good. And then
Yeah.
grown-ass men were suddenly like pulling over instead of like a kid my age. So it became kind of like a little bit dangerous.
And then what about because we've talked before about school bullies and this kind of stuff.
Right,
So
right.
did you suddenly have a reputation then because, you were you looked the part, so to speak?
I think they were a little bit afraid of me at this particular school. When I got to a bigger school, I've told you guys, people gave me a lot of heat
Mhm.
for looking like that. But when I was in this little teeny private school, they weren't going to step to me. I looked like, oh, she'll probably kick my ass.
Right.
I looked like a kind of like Kelly LeBrock in Weird Science with those tight skirts and the
You
kind of like that.
forgot to hook up the doll.
So I kind of, and I probably would have beat somebody up. I didn't though. I did use my powers for good, as I've told you all before.
Mhm.
If somebody would get bullied, I'd be like, "Excuse me," and I'd
Right.
walk over and like they'd be like,
But now, was the impetus of this change, was it because you went through, you sort of developed, as they say, all of a sudden? Or like what was the catalyst?
The catalyst was, I would say 12 years old, seventh grade, kind of a lumpy looking body. I wasn't developed yet. My waist hadn't gone in yet, and I
Mm-hmm.
was feeling a little bit insecure. I didn't know what musical taste I wanted to have because I felt that my social class or my social clique, not social class, depended on the music I chose. Do I want to be a new wave kid that I can't afford those clothes? Do I want to be a rock and roll kid? They just wear old t-shirts, and I was like, what's my style? What do I like? And then in eighth grade, everybody, I kind of holed up in my room and I listened to tons of different music, all different styles. Wow, I really like this. Wow, I really like that. And I kind of developed my taste, what I actually liked.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got kind of a rush out of the whole heavy metal thing. Like, wow, that's kind of scary. Wouldn't that be fun if I was one of those chicks?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
always
there's
two of
like a
those chicks to every
badass
like
thing.
15 dudes. Yeah, there's,
Right, right.
because most people's moms would shut that down and they'd be like, no, you're not going to be that chick, you know. But I was like, I'm going to be one of those two out of the 15. In my room, then I started kind of looking at myself. Oh, my waist is going in. Oh, let me do my bust exercise. So
Right.
I did all these workouts, laid in the sun, gave myself some highlights, and then ninth grade, I thought, I'm going to bust this out.
Hmm.
Did I answer your question? No, I forgot what you
Yeah,
said.
no, I get it. I mean, so it was partially because your body was starting to change, but you were sort of seeking a new identity, and that one
Correct.
was the most exciting, right?
It
Like
was
the
exciting, yes, and it was the closest thing to MTV, which I watched every day. I thought, wow, I could actually kind of be one of those chicks right now. This is
right.
crazy.
Oh,
This is
MTV,
crazy.
it is so hard to convey to people that weren't young, impressionable preteens and teenagers when MTV first started, like say the first 5 years of MTV
Hmm.
from 81 to 86. If you you weren't around and you didn't realize that channel had such an influence on every kid in one way or another, because just like you said, all of a sudden kids defined themselves by the type of music they were listening
I was
to.
like, oh, I'm a ZZ Top girl. I have that body. Like, I'm gonna go do that. How long am I gonna be able to do it? Not many years, but I actually could pull that off right now. So I just went for it.
Right.
And as you all know, if you read my books, it really got me into some very dangerous and awful situations. But, lacking the common sense, I pulled it. I pulled it off, and I was gonna try it. And
so what would you tell? Okay, what would you tell? So Amy on the first day of school is about to go to school with her, first day with her hot sandy outfit. What would you tell her right now?
I would say don't get so many leopard skin pieces because they're all going to clash. You don't need the mini skirt and the off the shoulder shirt and the dress.
Okay.
Don't wear high heels to 9th grade. High heels. I'd tell her to please don't do that. Anyway, all that aside, I would say, girl. What would I say? I would say you don't need to pull it out all at once. Like, let's just take this in stages, and I would kind of explain to her the different younger me would not have listened to older me, by the way. I would have told her there's a time and a place for this outfit. This is a club outfit. I would have explained, like, you don't just wear this stuff across the board to history class. I would say, that's actually a club outfit. That's actually a concert outfit. That's this. The girls in the videos, that's not what they wear to science class.
Right.
Van Halen's Hot for Teacher, that's actually not what it looks like at school. I would have told myself that kind of stuff.
Well, and let's, truth be told, I mean, those beautiful women in the videos, they didn't wear those clothes, going to Target or whatever. Like, they wore those clothes in the videos. And if they happened to be dancers, they wore them, on the pole or whatever. But
you guys all knew this, though, but I feel like I did know that, but it was more fun to pretend I was in a movie almost.
Yeah,
I thought,
but
I want to experience a crazy
that's a good
life.
point, though. No, that's a good point, because you were geographically right at the epicenter of all of that stuff. You were quite literally at ground zero for the whole heavy metal, video vixen culture. Like, you were present.
I've got to try this. This is ridiculous. The whole, that was kind of a big thing around the world at that time. And it was like Bon Jovi was, and I thought, I could go find these people. Like, why not? Like, let me just do something interesting,
Yeah. Okay. I get that. I get that. Yes. You have answered my question. And
all right.
I was obsessed with going to concerts. So I would say going into high school, I basically lived and died for concerts. And I still tried to be the cute little 17 girl, but if I could sit down the Robbie that was going into 9th grade with her stick shirt, I would probably say, I would just probably encourage her and say, look, follow what you love. And yeah, magazines are fine to look and say, oh, that's a cute skirt. Oh, that's a nice top. Oh, I might like that. But don't look at it like it's some kind of a blueprint for who you are or who you're supposed to be. Look inside for that and figure out what you like. And you're on the right track with, Styx and classic rock and following the music. And music was something that I just absolutely became obsessed and attached and, crazy about. So
I think it's lovely. I think you really kind of did yourself right. You did not hide and try to say, what does everyone else like? Oh, I need to go get that shirt. You're like, no, motherfuckers, I like Styx and I'm going to wear this shirt,
Yeah, well, that's true. I certainly never apologized for any of the music I loved.
Well, it sounds like you were spot on with expressing yourself at that age. And as far as myself, I feel like I was just very theatrical. I've always just been super, instead of minimalist, I've always been a maximalist for anything I'm doing. If I'm going to be a loser, I'm going to be the biggest loser in the world. I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to go to the very tip top. I was always just very theatrical.
Yeah.
But I think it was very nice that you wore something that represented you. And I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Were you ever, as a younger Robbie, in a situation where your mother was kind of like don't you recall being pushed into these dressing rooms and your mom's kind of holding up something to you and buying you all this stuff and you put it on, you're like, what am I wearing? You ever had a
No.
situation where you didn't like what she bought you, some like hush puppies or like some hateful, because I
No.
got some hateful graffiti jeans and I told you all I really wanted Sergio Valentes or Jordache. We've discussed this. I got the graffiti jeans where
Yeah.
the pockets were kind of boy pockets. They weren't
Yeah,
high
if
up
you
enough.
go to our Instagram,
I really
Glitter
don't
Bee
like that.
Girls on Instagram, you can actually see we actually have a photo of the graffiti jeans in question. I just feel like it took me way too many years to realize how fake and phony magazines and celebrities and all that stuff really is. Oh, you know what we forgot to talk about?
What?
We forgot to talk about supplies. We got to talk about that for a few minutes.
Oh.
Right? Because
did you get?
You'd go to school, right? And you'd go through all your classes on the first day, and your teachers would all be like, okay, for this class, you need number 2 pencils, you need black ball. There was always that one teacher who was a complete a-hole. You need black ballpoint pen. If you turn any of your assignments in blue ballpoint pen, you will get a 0. Right, and I was always like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, who cares? Blue, black, whatever. But okay, man. That always irritated me. And then you'd take the... You'd have to get your book covers for your textbooks. Do kids still do that now? Are there textbooks? Like, what happens now?
There are the same textbooks.
So,
at the middle school, you have a set. There's no lockers at the middle school my son goes to. You have a set at home, and there's a set at the school.
No
kidding. At the end of the school year, you bring back your book. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
I don't think it's like that at the high school, but this particular middle school
is like that. Interesting.
There's books and the same supplies, you guys. It's like, but now they say bring 12 colored pencils for maps, you draw maps and stuff. But yeah, it's the same thing. It's like the protractor, the pens, the number 2 pens, same stuff, you guys. I was like, really? Wow. And the one thing I remember about my school supplies was that I never had an eraser that I didn't jam my pencil into and make a big black mark. I had to dig in my erasers with my pencil.
Oh yeah. Oh, you had to mutilate
erasers.
I
ever have an eraser that I didn't stab to death with my pencil?
Didn't you draw stuff on your erasers with
the
pens?
answer is no. Yeah.
And did you chew on your erasers?
I chewed on my pencils. I chewed on my erasers. I chewed on the pencil sharpener. I ate the paste. It was a buffet of supplies. I put every single thing in my mouth. Like I must have eaten so much of that peppermint paste. I mean, what was wrong with me? And then,
did you ever, as I did, of course, chew on your Bic pen that then exploded in your mouth?
Yes.
And so you had black ink all over your face,
high school,
all over your teeth. That was a great day in my life when I was, and I thought I was cool, just kind of like holding the pen in my mouth, and I didn't realize, I don't know what happened, but the little cap came loose from the tube that holds the ink, the end that writes, and it came out or something, and it was just like bleh, like all over my face. There was always some stain, the ketchup at lunch, the mustard, eating chocolate at my desk. And my favorite was eating chocolate, and the chocolate would fall in your lap and you didn't know about it. So you'd get the little melted stain like right in a bad place in your lap. And you're like, oh, really?
But, in earlier years, I remember, you'd get your lunchbox, and we've discussed our lunchboxes before, but, before school starts, you get your school supplies, you get your lunchbox, and, I would get like a Hello Kitty backpack or something, you guys. And, at first everything's all new. And then as the year progresses, the lunchbox starts to smell something awful. Mine smelled like kind of like an orange peel and like some kind of rot of some fruit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a cat litter box. Like after a while, you just got to throw the thing out because it absorbs stuff.
What was that? And I remember opening up my turkey on wheat and it's smelling like an orange. I'm like, this is really messing with my brain right now. Because first of all, the orange would roll around in the lunchbox and smash my sandwich flat. And
Yeah.
my Capri Sun wasn't like heavy enough to do anything. But yeah, I
I
think it's the
bought I
orange.
bought my lunch every day.
You bought your lunch every day. Wow, you're
Well,
fancy.
in high school. In high
Fancy.
school I did. My
Did you
when I
ever
was
work at the
little,
cafeteria?
no.
Oh, I got to in sixth grade.
You worked in the cafeteria?
Yeah, the sixth graders were allowed to wear the little, shower cap or
Why
whatever,
did they
the
do
little
that to
food
sixth
net.
graders? What did you were you like a prep cook or something or
Well, I got to sit at the end and slouch all crazy with like my jelly bracelets and my like bra showing. And I got to sit at the end like this. And I sold for 25 cents giant cookies.
I remember those cookies in the wax bag.
And I
Yep.
sold those at the end and I'd slouch all like, yeah, you know.
Like how many cookies you want?
And if someone came up that I didn't like, I'd like break the cookie before I gave it to them. Oh, God. No, I was off and on cool. I was cool, and then I was a big dork if I changed schools. You know how it is.
Yeah.
But, you go through different things and different personalities and different people. The cast changes, and you get a new role.
Did you keep your locker clean? Like was it neat?
Please. No.
Okay, cuz I went through this, again with the whole I'm going to suddenly reinvent myself and become perfect. I would start out the school year. And we had these big, tall, skinny lockers with a tiny shelf at the top.
Right.
That barely held anything.
What'd you put up there?
Well, I would just put like, my pencil case, or you couldn't even fit your notebooks up there.
Did you have a mirror in your locker?
I had a magnetic mirror,
Right.
and I had Sticks pictures all up and down my locker. But what drove me nuts was, and I used to complain to the school about this, and this was probably the beginning of me making people's eyes roll everywhere I go. Because I was like, okay, why don't the lockers have a shelf like in the middle, so that when I put my wet snow boots on the bottom of the locker, I can then put my notebooks and papers on the shelf in the middle.
It's interesting because now you go to Target and they sell the locker shelf.
Yeah, okay,
Plop
that
it right
did
in.
not happen when I was young.
They have little chandeliers and little disco balls now that you put in your locker. Like you can have a whole little room in there now, a little wallpaper.
You know what? Thanks a lot to Target,
cool?
Walmart, whoever, because I would have been all over
Disco
that.
ball? I would have put a little
Yes, are you
chandelier.
kidding?
in
Can you
mine.
imagine my locker? My locker would have been a friggin' nightclub, okay?
Mine would have been fur. Like it would have been cool.
Oh no, I would have had like
I'd
flashing, like every
You
time
had
you
a
opened
stripper
it up,
pole in
like
your-
music would play. It'd be like booshka,
Earth,
booshka,
Wind, and
booshka,
Fire.
booshka. Yeah, like ba-dee-ah-dee-ah, and then you close it, ba-dee-ah.
Mine would have been that same AC/DC.
Bent, bent. Amy opens her locker. But come on, am I wrong? Because what would happen every year is I would start out, I had one notebook for every class, and I always was taking some or all honors classes. So I had textbooks, notebooks, trapper keepers, all kinds of crap, and I would put it in the bottom of the locker. But if you have your boots in there, then the notebooks are laying and they're falling down and they're opening and stuff's falling out. And then the snow on the boots, it like gets the papers all wet and, it stains
so
everything.
weird.
And then
You
after a
took
while,
off your boots? Like, is that what happened?
well, because you'd bring normal shoes. Like
Is
you'd
that
bring,
how it worked? How
yeah, you'd bring
weird.
your cute shoes and
I
you
wore like flip flops to school, so that's just so weird
well,
to me.
I
How
mean,
interesting.
there's a foot of snow, right? So you go through the snow
Wow.
in your
You
boots.
had to have room for your boots.
Yeah, but there was
Oh my
no
gosh.
shelf. So all you would do is just shove all your shit in the locker
Yeah.
and in this skinny locker, and it would all be like falling down, and then you open it up and like cans are rolling out and stuff.
Okay, but why don't you bring a trash bag to put your boots in so they weren't wet?
No one ever gave me that idea until right now when you just did.
I would have said, girl.
I
Get a
don't know how other
plastic
people did it. Everybody else had these neat little notebooks, and you know how you'd hole punch papers? Mine would always rip. So I had like, nothing, they weren't all neatly stacked in the 3-ring binder. Like there was like stuff sticking out all askew and papers bent and folded and all this.
The worst thing is though when you open up that 3-ring binder, everybody, and then you try to shut it, and then you have too much paper, and just the bottom hole doesn't fit in the binder.
Oh, yeah.
But the rest of it did. You're like, damn.
Yeah. You know what the worst is though?
Mhm.
Closing those friggin' rings on your finger.
Damn, that hurt.
That is like stepping on a Lego pane when you're, and because they pop and they spring shut and you're like, "Wah!" and you catch your finger in there. That's rude.
Yeah, it was bad.
Really rude. Yeah, I remember looking around the room, because I was always looking around to figure out how to do stuff, just how to be social and stuff. And I'd look around the room and everybody had all these neat notebooks and they would turn the pages and all their holes were intact, the 3-ring holes and everything, and I'm like, I got like this mess of crap that's all out of order and I can't find it and, and whatever. And the chapter over here and this, I forgot my homework.
You give me anxiety.
I'm turning in my homework and it's all like crinkled up and dog-eared.
Oh, my stuff was all neat inside. I can't live with that.
How did you do that though? I want to know. I didn't know how.
That might have come naturally to me. Organizing paperwork and stuff. I've always done that.
How would you have stored your? Okay, let's just say. Okay, I'm gonna go with my sophomore year of high school. Okay, I had honors biology, honors math, honors English, and honors history. Okay. Now these are serious classes. I had one notebook, one big 3-ring binder for each one of those. I had a folder, the paper folders, right, for each one of those, and I had 2 trapper keepers that were also for like other, segments of other classes and special stuff. So here I got 6 notebooks and then I've got 5 textbooks because one class had 2 textbooks and then whatever else I was reading for, my because we were reading novels and stuff in the 10th grade class,
of course,
right?
Yes.
So, my tattered copy of Ordinary People or whatever.
Right.
So now I'm going to open my skinny, tall locker with no shelving except for that tiny one at the top that you can't fit any of your books in. Mm-hmm. So it's a big, long, skinny thing that's probably 8 inches wide. All right. So I'm trying to I'm putting my notebooks in there and you can hang your jacket. Sure, that's fine. You hang your jacket. But all of my notebooks, how do you put that in there in a neat way? They're all like slanted and then they fall and then the books fall and stuff falls out on your feet. I mean, I never figured that out my entire high school career because I was at the same high school.
My locker was wide enough to fit the books in normal, so I don't know.
No, ours were not.
Picture what you're talking about.
No, like I could fit the 4 3-ring binders across, and that was about it. And maybe shove a textbook there. But then you had to start stacking stuff. And, and it doesn't stack easily.
I made one very thick binder instead of all the binders. So I had one very thick binder of different colors. Oh, I
see. You put,
different colors, yeah.
Okay. I couldn't do that because my binders got too full. There's too much stuff. Too many notes.
Keep it all, though.
Oh, and then I had spiral notebooks. Like I would try to do a spiral notebook for the notes and then put the 3-ring hole stuff, the handouts in a 3-ring binder because I was trying to keep the 3-ring binder from being like 6 feet thick.
I would just keep one very thick thing of paper for all classes.
And then you had dividers? Do you have like little dividers? Okay.
Correct. And then in the big, huge 3-ring binder, it was probably like giant, different folders for different classes in between. And they each had like, and then I wouldn't keep all the papers in there for every 2 weeks. Those papers come out and they go back to my house, So it didn't get too thick like that. I didn't keep it all on me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kept everything with me all the time. And my book bag used to weigh like 65 pounds.
Mm.
I still have like some kind of scoliosis from carrying school book bags like I did. And that carried into college. Oh my God, don't get me started on my college, because college textbooks are like 30 pounds.
Giant.
And you have 6
heavy.
of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have a locker, so you're hoofing them around the whole campus. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I would sit my 10th grade self down and I would probably say to her, bring your dad in to have a look at the locker and install some shelving in there. Like figure it out. Figure out how
measure
to
it.
install
Get a measuring tape. Tell him the measurements of the locker and just write it on a piece of paper and just give it to him.
Yeah, I mean,
bring in a measuring tape.
Some way. No, I'd want him to come in and look at it because I'd want him to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I can put these, I can do this, that, and the other. And I mean, I should have had some kind of a consultation. Because all I wanted was shelves. And I even talked to the principal about it. I was like, can they install shelves in all the lockers? Like at least maybe in the lower third of the locker so that you can put your shoes under there, your boots, and then you can stack stuff on top. I'm like, at least that much. And he's like, no one else seems to have a problem with this, Robbie-Ann. I mean, everyone else seems to be able to figure out how to utilize their lockers properly. I don't understand why this is a problem for you.
Why don't you put your boots in your PE locker instead of your?
Because we didn't have our PE lockers were like these little baskets.
Oh,
and
that's
you could
where
just
I'm strong.
Yeah, they would only.
I had a big PE locker where I could put, if I had to, put like jackets and stuff.
No, we couldn't do that. And in the winter, I mean, you've got a big parka in there. Snow is melting all over shit. It's just. I'm all upset now.
Trash bag. Trash bag.
Like, all right, we're done now. We covered it. That's our show for now on back to school shopping and the trauma of me not being able to properly utilize my tall, skinny locker. But Aim, Magic 8 Ball, what are we asking?
What are we asking? Magic 8 Ball. Would Robbie's life have been different if her father would have just went and measured the locker and built her a shelf?
Right. Now, to make it clear, I did not ask my dad. I know if I'd asked him, he would have been all over it. He would have totally
done it because he fixed the Barbie condo.
He would have come in there with friggin' welding shit and welded me.
She would have asked her father and stopped bitching about the locker. I mean...
Okay, I'm shaking the Magic 8 Ball. If I had asked my dad to put a damn shelf in the locker, would my entire life be different? Would my life have changed for the better?
Yes.
Let's see. All right. Oh, I can't read it now.
Put your readers on.
Oh, it says Outlook not so good. Okay, so you know what? There you go. Magic 8 Ball has spoken.
Okay.
It wouldn't have made any difference whether I kept my locker neat or not. But you know what? I want to hear from you guys. DM us, Glitterbee Girls on Instagram or Twitter, Glitterbee Girls. I want to know, what are your thoughts about that? Like, did you have issues with your locker? What was your...
How did you organize yourselves?
Yeah, what was your back to school organization process? We love hearing from you. So, and we also have a website, glitterboomgirls.com. You can find all kinds of pictures and stuff.
And by the way, go on there, everybody, and see our friend Robbie in 10th grade and see how quote unquote dorky she looks. She looks like a movie star. But
I don't have my senior picture up there because I can't bear the shame. But anyhow, we love you guys. So have an awesome day, and I'm gonna sign off. I'm Robbie-Ann McPherson on the East Coast.
I am Amy Asbury on the West Coast. I've really enjoyed talking to everybody. Rob, I love you to death.
Oh, I love you too, Amy. All right, bye, you guys.
Bye, everyone.